She's with NBS TV in Uganda. This is Dr. Ewa. He's one of Chicago's highest ranking Africans that works for the state and the city. He's been with the state, he's been with the city and all that. And Isabella is more or less the person we're following. We're here to work for her. And what I'm going to ask applies to you and Dr. Ewa. I'm Fred Nwankwo, as you know. I'm with ALEN magazine here in Chicago. This organization has come a very long way. I know when you started. I know how you guys collaborated. Tell me about the organization and tell me the challenges you've had along the way to bring it to the point it is right now.
Thank you so much. These men, we have been on each other for the last 20, maybe more years. We came together, we found this Africa Global Chamber of Commerce because we had the same vision. We believed in we African immigrants, we need to be successful in this country. We launched this chamber. We are co-founder of Africa Global Chamber of Commerce. We started this together, we continue together. There's a testimony. He came here to continue to support effort. He has given enough for the community, African immigrant community enough, but he did not get enough credit. Brother Dr. Ewa, I said that the Africans stand behind you.
Okay. Dr. Ewa, like Mr. Kamanzi just said,
Chairman.
You were here, the chairman of the organization. You were here when it started. And as you can see, Mr. Kamanzi, with you working with him, has really grown this organization.
Yes.
And it's like a rainbow coalition of Africans.
Yes.
It's good for Africa, not for Mr. Kamanzi. How do you now bridge Nigerians back into it, because he has set the pace, and then bridge them back in so that the collaboration will even get wider?
This is, I mean, look, Kamazi has been with me for more than 20-something years. The good thing about him is that he is a dedicated, passionate individual about trade in Africa. So what we need to do right now, today we are doing with Uganda. We are going to go ahead after the Nigerian election. We want to utilize the African Global Chamber of Commerce as a conduit for business development in Africa as a whole. From Nigeria, we go to Ghana. From Ghana, we go to Rwanda, and so on and so forth, based upon the schedule. Today, we are going to expand, integrate, and make sure that there is representation within the board of directors, within the Economic Development Council of AGCC, that yes, nobody is left out.
Hello, how are you today?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
What brings you here today?
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Nakimra. The tour management company that I work for, called Insider Expedition, is working on some really exciting trips with the Martin Luther King Jr. family in 2023. One of which we are taking a group of people to Uganda, 100 people to Uganda, and we're doing a pre-trip in DC, February 17th to the 20th, President's Day weekend, which is also really exciting. We're going to be touring different landmarks that kind of embody the vision of Martin Luther King Jr. and just kind of figuring out how we can carry the torch and keep his vision going on.
Perfect. So, coming here today, what did you expect to achieve by being part of this event?
Well, unfortunately, I've never actually been to Uganda, as much as I would love to go. So it's just really interesting meeting the head of state and meeting various people who do work in Uganda, who are just visiting Chicago, getting to see the trades and the goods that they are making, meeting people that we can work with in Uganda when we take the King family and the guests over there.
There are about 55 countries in Africa. Why did you pick Uganda? Uganda is a great place, I'm just asking.
It is a beautiful country. There's gorilla trekking, there's beautiful mountains. The only reason why we chose Uganda this time around is because we kind of know a few people there already, but honestly, this is just a start. Like,
Okay.
we're going to Uganda as the first trip, but we're hoping to expand and go to more African countries.
Perfect. Well, people like you are the reason we came here today to cover, because we wanted to get a diverse coverage of what's going on here, what this event is all about, and how we could promote collaboration between Africans. And when we talk about Africans, we include African Americans, Caribbean Africans. If you notice, our magazine is called ALEN. ALEN actually is not a name, it's acronym for African Life, Entertainment and News. Mrs. Muwazi?
Yeah.
Muwevi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Fred Mwanko with ALEN magazine here in Chicago.
Yes.
I was very impressed with what's gone on all day, but the question I have is from an African standpoint. Much of what we are talking about today is addressed at collaboration with the United States. What's Uganda also doing to equally create the same collaboration across the African continent so that within the continent we could take advantage of these opportunities? That's one part. The other part is, what has Uganda done to build the structures that will make it enabling when these people come in and they are really interested in investing?
Thank you. I will start with your first one. In collaboration, as far as Africa is concerned, Uganda is part of the East African community. That includes Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Democratic Republic of Congo, the Sudan. So that whole region of East Africa, as you heard the president say, it's a big market, 300 million people. So those are the partnerships, the collaborations. If you visit, for example, you only need one tourist visa, and it will take you through the East African countries.
Excellent.
You know, and open borders for the people that to be able to trade together.
Very good.
And then he talked on a larger scale. There's the continental free trade area, where African countries are saying, even when we were here negotiating for the extension of AGOA, we were in the same room as trade ministers talking, yes, AGOA is meant for the sub-Saharan Africa, but we want it to be for the entire Africa through the continental free trade area, because it's a bigger market, and the more we work together, the more we are able to manage the volumes that American market needs.
Yes.
That's one. As far as when you come to invest in Uganda, we have a good investment regime. You can come to Uganda, you invest. One, you can take out your money that you have made. As long as you paid your taxes, all the profits are yours and you can take them out. You get tax holidays if you invest a certain amount of money in your business. As a foreign investor, you are guaranteed security. If you can be in the tribunal if there's any misunderstandings. All those are areas that actually attract foreign investments.
Very good. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You.
I know I met you earlier, but now you gave me an opportunity to see why you were a special assistant to the president.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
The money that we make, the profits that we make here on the U.S. side, it's still Ugandan. It's a Ugandan-owned business, and so everything is going back to Uganda.
What are some of the issues do you believe Uganda should address before they can fully maximize their export revenue to $6 billion in 2027?
Well, one of the biggest challenges that people are having is access to capital in order to scale. So I know there are a lot of different entities in Uganda that are working on those things, but it's still a big bottleneck. It's a bottleneck for our company, and it's a bottleneck for many others as well. I think we also have to be looking at sustainability of the products that we're producing as well, because for us in the coffee industry, we're dealing in fine Arabica coffee. experts believe that by 2050, half of all coffee lands will no longer be suitable for growing coffee. So we have to take that very seriously. If we're not being sustainable in our approach environmentally, then it's also not a sustainable future for the farmers who are producing that coffee. We need to be thinking about all of that.
And finally, as someone who is an exporter of Ugandan products to the US, what are some of the things one requires so that they too can tap into the US market?
So accessing the United States market is a complicated process. It does involve being FDA certified in your facilities, both in Uganda and if you do, like us, we have facilities in the United States as well. So those have to be FDA certified, and that can be a bit of a process. We also have export licenses and things that we need to deal with. But generally speaking, I think one of the biggest challenges that I see is people will bring items. Maybe they'll bring a container of coffee and they'll have it here, and then they'll look for a buyer, and instead of finding first the buyer and then bringing the product. So I think you've got to work a lot harder on that marketing side of things. For us, we focus on the highest margin profitability, basically, for our product, which is coffee. And if I was advising somebody it was in vanilla or in cocoa or something like that, I'd tell them the same thing. I would say, look at the highest profit margin sector, part of the industry, and aim for that. Get to know those buyers, and then there's more profitability, not only for you at the end of at your point of sale, but also for the producers and everybody up and down that value chain, right? So the U.S. market really wants high quality. They really want the narrative of sustainability, of social impact. These things are very saleable in the United States. So I would encourage people to be working on that. How are you practicing regenerative agriculture? Are you just, what is the sustainability of your practice for the farmer, for the lands? What kind of impact are you making on people's lives? All of this can be a part of a narrative. If you have a good quality product, will put you in first place because you have that narrative of transformation that goes on.
As you see around this room, we have several products. The 26 companies that were introduced by Pasaid here are actually introducing 13 products to you that want to come and break into the US market. And we are confident that these products are ready to come on your US shelves.
We will close our summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again. It is beyond belief that this journey has started, and that it started now, and it has started in earnest. I want to once again thank the President, His Excellency, for appointing me as the ambassador. I am here, I am at your service.
Uganda! Uganda!